Thank you for watching this video. My name is Jermaine and I'm going to ask you a series of questions as to why you are an atheist. Why do you hold that position?
Well, it's lovely to meet you, Jermaine, particularly as you seem to share a name with one of the greatest musicians in history, Jermaine Clement, who co-wrote one of the most powerful love songs in the history of ever, Business Time.
2 minutes in heaven is better than 1 minute in heaven.
Brings a tear to my eye and penis every time I play it. Anyway, sure, ask away. If there's one thing that is always not a complete waste of time, it's theists asking big brain smart boy questions to atheists like me. Oh, and I don't know if this counts as a question, but I hold it because I don't believe in God. If I did, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be an atheist, because duh.
Do you want eternal life?
Oh, that's a fancy transition. And, no, of course not. Why the f would I want that? Can you imagine how freaking tedious literal eternity would be? Even if you were to exist in some sort of bliss state, there has to be an upper limit before that shit gets real old. Too much of a good thing and all that. And certainly there's going to be a point where there's nothing to really look forward to. And if it's not that, but a bit more like a real life that just happens to carry on infinitely, that means there's a very real chance for you to go through infinite suffering as well, regardless of there being a hell or no. And, f that.
If you don't want eternal life, just stop watching, because it's just a waste of time. If you don't want to worship God on earth, what makes you think you want to worship God in heaven for eternity?
Nah, I'll do what I want, thank you very much. It's too much fun when, in mere moments, you have stated something so incredibly stupid, it's amazing just how stuck in your own limited worldview you are. You genuinely think that the only possible version of live forever that could be is yours. You cannot conceive of other versions of eternal life, whether that be ones of other religions or ideas less specific to spiritual concepts, like some kind of oneness or what have you. No, if you like the idea of an eternal life, it means that you want to go to the Christian heaven. Smart. I mean, for f***'s sake, there are literally non-theistic worldviews with heavens in them, you dumb asshole. If anyone needs to stop, it's you making this video to go research anything ever. Damn.
Heaven ain't for you. It's just, I'm just being real. I'm not being funny. I'm just being real. If you don't want eternal life, just stop watching.
You know, it really smacks of incredible intellectual dishonesty to open with the question that in your mind, at least, is designed to filter most people out. When really what you're doing is not only saying, I have the philosophical knowledge of a stamp, but also that you don't understand how someone can answer your questions even with you assuming that you already know all the answers.
Does the God of the Bible exist? Yes or no?
Again, amazing, because if we followed your instructions, we would have literally no other answer than yes here. Because you assume that if someone wants to live forever, that means they believe in the Christian heaven. And that heaven would in fact contain Mr. Yowayington. Good job. I'm so bad at following instructions. All that food poisoning be damned. And, you know, I can't tell if you're too dumb to realize the contradiction of asking this question after the first, or you think that you're being really clever whilst actually being transparently manipulative. It's weird. Also, no, the God of the Bible, I can comfortably say, is incredibly unlikely to exist. But that is only because he is obviously a made-up nonsense contradiction machine.
No? Well, prove it.
The fact that you don't understand how no one should be here and answering no means that you likely have no idea how the burden of proof works. If I tell you that I can fly by flapping my arms real fast, you're going to ask me to prove that. Otherwise, rely on your previous experience of that never happening to conclude that I cannot in fact fly by my refusal to demonstrate said ability. The same applies for any claim of infinitely powered beings doing a universe or anything else claimed to have been done by Sir Goddington. Until you can prove that he can, I am well within my rights to reject your baseless claim as a fact as a baseless claim. And you're stupid.
You can't. So if you say yes, well, welcome to Christianity. So no, you can't prove it. So at the end of the day, it takes faith on either side.
You mind demonstrating that? Because you see, what you have here is an assertion, a claim to something, not proof of that thing. Does it? I don't have to prove God doesn't exist to not believe in him, the same way I don't have to prove that you don't have a brain to be unconvinced of its existence. Especially when you're giving me no good reason to believe there is one in there, mate.
An atheist cannot prove God doesn't exist. We can't prove God exists, but it takes faith.
Well, at least you're admitting that you can't prove God am real, although the fact that you believe in the guy regardless is more telling of you than my inability to disprove him does of me. When I can't prove things exist, I tend not to believe in them. When I can't prove something doesn't exist, the fact that that thought even crosses my mind makes it a fair assumption that it doesn't f***ing exist.
Either way, you have to believe.
Not believing is not the same thing as believing. It's right there in the f***ing words being used.
Do you believe someone or something put us on this earth to live and die?
Oh look, an incredibly vague question. I mean, I could answer yes, evolution is a thing, and I exist because of it, and living and dying is an inherent property of life, so that's also a thing that made me do that. Also, there's my parents, who presumably understand the basic concept of causality, and had me anyway. That's the problem when you don't think through your questions. You're gonna end up with answers that you weren't even remotely expecting, especially since what you're almost certainly trying to ask is, do I think a conscious entity, not of this earth/realm, put me here specifically and deliberately to live and die? When, of course not. I am not so vain as to think my existence is so important that supernatural forces conspired to make sure that I happen, is what I would say if I didn't know for a fact I am here because whiskey wills it. Someone has to drink it all.
I think if for you to say no, it would be illogical. Someone or something put us on this earth to live and die.
The sheer bloody arrogance of that statement is frankly astounding. Not only in that you believe that you are so special that you need to be created on purpose, but also that you can't even fathom that there could be completely logical, sound explanations for our existence that don't require you to be a deliberate act. And so anyone holding those views is being stupid. Ironically, the inability to even begin to entertain ideas outside the things you already believe is a sign of an intellect so vanishingly small, I again am unconvinced by its existence at all. And then to have someone like that accuse me of being illogical is just really funny.
That's logical, right? You someone put us here, someone or something. If so, what was it? I didn't ask to be here. Neither did you.
First thing we can agree on, I definitely didn't ask for you to be here, and I didn't ask to be here either. I wanted to go to the pub, but the assumption that someone leads to a decision being made by someone else is wild. I mean, even at a human scale, accidental people happen all the time. Humans make other humans unintentionally every single day. They didn't plan on it, and even if they understood the ramifications of having unprotected sex, it can still happen, with all measures to prevent taken. But yeah, it's like saying that rivers are an intentional creation of the river god, not a result of a series of physical reactions that happen to have that particular result sometimes.
Why? Why are we here? Why is the universe here?
Would you accept no reason? I mean, the universe exists because a thing happened at the start, but I know you mean more as to its purpose. Because again, things can and do happen with zero intentionality behind them, regardless of the scale. Big things happen for no reason, small things happen for no reason. What makes you think that a universe isn't subject to those same rules? Although, you know, think is a bit of a strong word.
Do you believe in free will?
You know, that is actually a tough question, because while I do think that ultimately we exist in a deterministic universe where everything is essentially the result of things that came before, I also think that what we understand as free will is also kind of a thing, but is essentially a set of reactions so unfathomably complicated that the idea that it is as simple as a thing happens, therefore you did X, is just reductionist gibberish. I think my answer ultimately, as any good scientist would say, is it depends.
No? Well, you use your free will to become an atheist. Are you saying the good and bad choices you made in your life, someone foisted you to do that? Or do you take full responsibility?
There doesn't have to be a someone, dipshit. Reactions to physical stimuli are not the same as an outside intelligence having agency over you. And I hate to tell you this, buddy, but under your God did it rubric, especially for one, the Abrahamic done it, you definitely don't have free will. In a universe with a God that knows literally all outcomes, that has the power and will to make those things happen, you definitely don't have a single choice in your decision. At least with determinism, it's not someone else making you do shit, it's just the universe having effects on you as it does with everything else.
Truth is, if I knew the evil things that you've done to people in this world that God knows about you, you would probably run under a rock. And guess what? The same goes for me.
This is a classic theist assumption. Well, I've done shitty things, therefore everybody else has done equally shitty things. It's the same premise as, if I didn't believe in God and there were no laws against it, I would murder a bunch of people, with the assumption that everyone else would do the same. No, psycho, that's just you, and the nutjobs like you's problem. How about see a therapist before you one day decide, well, God will forgive me, might as well fucking eat this random stranger. If you require supernatural threat to behave with basic decency, you aren't decent, you're dangerous.
Is the reason why you don't believe in God because you can't see him and there's no evidence?
The tacit implication that he essentially agrees with the atheist position is fucking hilarious.
Well, you can't see a lot of things. You can't see friendship. You can't see love. You can't see fairness. You can't see justice. You can't see gravity. You can't see energy, but you believe in it, right? It's there. Of course those things exist. And to be honest, yes, they do exist.
Right, but you're missing half your initial premise. With every single one of those things, evidence. Friendship and love are evidenced by how people treat you. Gravity and energy are evidenced by their effects on the world. God has no evidence for his existence, at least none that aren't better explained by natural laws over a guy wanted that to happen for no reason. Now, did you just forget? Or are you so utterly stupid that you think not seeing something and there being no evidence are not the same fucking thing as each other?
But you believe in it. You didn't see the Big Bang, but you believe in it. You didn't see the primordial soup, but you believe in it. You didn't see the origins of life, but you believe in it.
Well, the primordial soup is not the current understanding of the formation of life, so no, I most certainly don't believe that. The Big Bang is literally just what happened in the early stages of the universe, as evidenced by the fact that the universe is still expanding, and the origin of life happened. God or no, life almost certainly wasn't, and then it was. It had to have happened somehow. And so I do believe that it in fact happened somehow. But the fact that you failed to ask that question the way that you meant to is not my fucking problem.
Right? But when it comes to God, you reject it.
Yes, I do reject things that have no evidence. I am just an asshole like that, and many other ways.
So if you saw the God of the Bible, would you turn from your sin and become a Christian?
Nope.
I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Go ahead.
This is a video. I don't need your permission to answer this over any length of time. I have this wonderful tool called the pause button. Anyway, again with the vague. How do I know it's the God of the Bible? How do I know which version of him that it is, considering how many there are? How do I know that it's not a dream or a hallucination or an elaborate hoax? You need to give me more than, my guy am do a real, now what?
You would. You would believe in God all this. If you saw him with your own eyes, you would believe in him.
Okay, so if I saw and somehow knew that was the God as written in the Holy Nipple, I knew it was a specific version, and I somehow knew for a fact that it was him, I would believe he existed. I mean, okay, but that's not the same thing as thinking he's worthy of praise or worship, just that there's a guy who I know is objectively a massive asshole exists. Well, so what? I exist and no one worships me. Well, they shouldn't, because again, massive prick. Also, I'm a bad guy.
You know what would happen if you saw him? You would believe for about 24 hours, and then you go right back to your sin. You'll be forever condemned.
Aside from, again, believing and thinking he's a stand-up guy are not the same thing, when I learn facts, I tend not to forget them for no reason. Do you? Would not surprise me if your object permanence is that of a baby's at this point. And anyway, if that's what would happen, it really sounds like I have no choice in the matter. But didn't you say I chose to be an atheist? Which is it, man? Free will or not? You can't have it both ways.
That's not an excuse. That's just the facts. God could poke his head through the clouds right now and said, I am the God of the Bible, follow my commandments. You think all the evil and all the killing, the lying and stealing, the raping and the dishonesty would stop? No.
Well, that's a damning indictment of God's ability to effect change. He can't even get humans to do what he wants, even though he made them and expects them to do so. Almost like he couldn't do that. Almost like he didn't.
No. It will stop one day when he returns. When Jesus returns, it will stop.
But not now, because suffering is funny, I guess. And, you know, dumbass hypotheticals don't actually prove shit. So I really don't know what your point is even supposed to be. And that's me being super nice and assuming that you even have one, mate.
Has modern science destroyed your relationship with God? Because the Big Bang is pseudoscience. Yes, I said it. Yes, it is. Abiogenesis is pseudoscience. Yes, I said it. It is. It's all pseudoscience.
Considering the fact that you can't even pronounce abiogenesis, that isn't great. But no, Big Bang isn't pseudoscience. It's a fact. Abiogenesis, even if the answer is God did it, the fact that nothing lived, then things lived, is a fact about the universe as we understand it. You can say scientifically illiterate nonsense all you want. I wouldn't expect anything less of you. Or more, probably. But it doesn't change the fact that you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, and I don't have a relationship with God to destroy. He doesn't real, mate.
The scientific method is observe, you test, and you repeat. You go ahead and demonstration. So go ahead and demonstrate. Go ahead and observe. And go ahead and repeat the origins of life. You can't.
Again, your overwhelming illiteracy is showing there's more to science than this oversimplified nothing. But bear in mind that everything you believe should be subject to the same scrutiny. And you continue to believe that, apparently by your standards, for no reason. And again, you want to frame anyone else as illogical? Get a grip, mate.
Go ahead and demonstrate the Big Bang. You can't. The Big Bang, abiogenesis, evolution, including macroevolution. I don't want to hear it's the same thing. No, I'm not talking about small scale changes in allele frequency. I'm talking about large, massive scale. And first of all, the debate shouldn't even be about evolution, because without life, evolution doesn't exist.
You brought up evolution, you fucking moron. And yeah, we can prove it. We do it all the time. Your inability to bother learning about it is not evolution's fault. It's yours. Stop getting your science from answers in fucking Genesis. It's embarrassing. Also, again, evolution can still be how it do even with God did it. Stop being so wrong. It's exhausting.
So you're skipping over the true. You can't just say, oh, once life emerged and evolution took over. No, that doesn't work that way.
You telling anyone anything about how science works is frankly hilarious. And, well, I can skip over you rambling incoherently over your piss-poor refutation of evolution and the scientific method in general, including a tangent on how we are the pseudoscientists attempting to destroy science. The irony is genuinely mind-bending.
What was eternal and uncreated to bring us into existence from non-existence?
That question doesn't mean anything, and as usual assumes your worldview as default. There could be an eternal uncreated thing. That might not be, and the universe started out of literal nothing. I do not know. Hell, it could be some or many or any other concept that humans can't even fathom at this point. This question isn't something that I can really answer because it's just you saying, hey, I'm already right. Now answer in a way that agrees with me. No, and fuck right off.
Aren't you tired of running, ripping and running?
Nah, but I am tired of you being an ignorant dumbass. Bye!